Hello everyone, my name is Steven Zapata. I'm a concept artist, illustrator, online art teacher, and former instructor at Art Center College of Design. I would like to introduce you to my new drawing course, Form from Imagination, a course designed to help you draw with confidence from your mind. Maybe you want to be a professional illustrator or designer, maybe you want to be a master with a pencil, or maybe you just want to be the best artist that you can be. Beautiful goals. But it's not always clear how to improve the work that you do from imagination. Over the past 6 months, I've taken all of the little eurekas, tips, and essential exercises that gave me confidence drawing from my mind and compiled them into a sequential course. We start with the absolute foundations, covering the scientific nature of light and shadow, how to hatch, how to create flat tones, how to render spheres and cubes, and step by step, we move through combined shapes, complex shapes, organic shapes. We cover how to simplify extremely complex subjects like the head into basic shapes so that you can handle them more easily from your head. We look at how to understand and treat details. And by the end of these 14 chapters with over 50 video lessons, you'll be ready to do complex designs from your mind with fidelity and energy. And all the demos are done in pencil on paper, so you can do all of the assignments even if you don't have a fancy digital art setup. But I also have demos, instructions, and modifications to the assignments for those who do want to do them digitally. Here's how it works. Go to formfromimagination.com and sign up for the course. Download the assignment book and start watching the lectures. Do the assignments at your own pace. Take your time with them and use this self-study to develop your patience. When you're done, post your assignments in the exclusive community hub, and I'll personally critique your work with drawovers, diagrams, and advice. I want you to know, this course is no joke just because it's online. It is challenging content, and it is more complete than it would be if I was teaching this class at an art college as I have before. If I was teaching this class in person at Art Center today, I would just play these videos in class, knowing full well that they're the most concise, focused, edited, step-by-step way to convey the material. So I'm serious when I say, this course isn't just a substitute for a college-level course, it's better than a college-level course. And you don't have to pay thousands of dollars per credit and wind up hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. So thank you for checking out the course, thank you for watching this and for your support, and thank you for drawing and making your artwork. The world needs it. I'll see you soon. The year is 87039, new nonlinear time. It's been 50,000 years since Steven Zapata's final art stream, but we still live in a golden age defined by the gifts his stream bestowed upon mankind. Faster than light travel, eternal life, Steven cloning, and the keys to a truly galactic human civilization. My name is Stave Satapaz, a reminder clone of Steven Zapata, an exact reproduction of his personality as constructed by an AI compiling millions of hours of his... All right, screw it. I don't want to sit here waiting through the through the sci-fi intro, so I'm just starting it. Are we better? That looks better, right? Fix my focus here. Yep. And where's the pencil I want to use? All right, so we'll see how it holds up. I restarted and did my usual maintenance, but you know, I don't actually really know what was wrong, so you guys will excuse me if there's suddenly frame drops or anything like that. And let us draw. Let us Friday draw. I need a piece of scrap paper. This will do. I did this little sketch. Well, it's not little. It's on a big piece of paper, 18 by 24. But I did this little doodle rather quickly in like under 10 or 15 minutes earlier today. So let's just poke at it. I don't know if it's gonna be like a real, how far I'm gonna take it. I just had it on the drawing board already. Let's put on a little musica. Is that my dear Yosef Matziliano? How you doing, Yosef? Let me fix my microphone a bit. What you up to, Joe? Must not disturb my dog's tail with my microphone stand. Hello to Kyrilo, Mr. Ball Slapper 2000, Paulea 8, Leal H, Pepe Pep, Oster, Discbreaker, M. DeBoer, Seth Hat, Beatriz, Isaac Mill, Estras, Munoz, Angel, Seth Hat, Dino Blaster, Ayub, Azakmam. And I think that's everybody we got so far. Hanging in there. I got a great movie recommendation from Magda for tonight. Very nice. Humanoids from the Deep. It's free here on YouTube. Is that like an old movie? Or is that a new movie? That name makes me think it's got to be some black and white teen sci-fi film from the 40s or 50s. Sculpting a maquette. I guess it's a fairy. Not sure what it is, says Johnny Pearson. That's all right. It's not your job to know what it is. It's your job to make it. Walk us through. When 0.5 and when a regular pencil? What's your reasoning? Just whatever my guts say. There is no real reasoning. Wish I could make it sound super thought out or anything like that, but sometimes a little itch on the paper, a little sensation in the fingers lets me know this is the time for this one. I can't tells MT Art, your art is super nice. I see it often. Mel, who is MT Art, Mel is a poster child for how doing slow, steady, super involved drawings, even very early in your progression, has huge payoff. I had the good luck to meet Mel and to train him early on in his artistic journey, and I was very shocked and impressed that when I told him, yeah, you should keep going on doing finished drawings that just take you hundreds of hours, even though you don't really have a lot of experience under your belt. I was amazed that Mel actually believed me, and even more than that, actually did it because he believed me, and I think the results speak for themselves. I mean, just huge improvement from piece to piece. You know, you need depth. You need to really engage with what you're doing, and depth requires time. Where's my itty bitty tiny little super small eraser? Hey, Stephen, in your drawing course, do you give a one-on-one critique sessions? I do critique people's work individually, if that's what you mean. People post their assignments, and yeah, I'm the one who goes in there and gives comments on the assignments. Sometimes the other students chime in and give advice and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's me giving the feedback. And they'll tell you, the people who take the course, they will tell you, I respond to every damn one. It's a lot of work. Mr. Ball Slapper 2000 says, is there certain deadlines with the drawing course? Because chances are whenever I do get it, I'll be really busy working on seasonal jobs with crappy internet. Deadlines, you mean like deadlines to submit the assignments? No. The way that I basically think of it is, if you've paid me that sum, you have paid for feedback on all 30 assignments. So whenever you get to them, I don't put like all right, you've got to get this assignment done by this week. You've got to get this assignment done by this week. I think outside of like an actual classroom setting, that's really hard to enforce with assignments like these, because these assignments are hard. So I think people really need kind of time to internalize them and kind of work up to them. You know, I don't want people rushing. Because for the subject matter of the course, which is a lot of form and rendering, even the sphere, I'm asking people to basically push it as far as is possible for them. And it doesn't really, it's not helpful to give me a sphere where you like went 30% on it or went even 50% on it. To understand form and to try to internalize it, you really kind of got to give it your all. You've got to find your limit. You've got to find where you really don't understand how to execute the rendering and the modeling factors. So yeah, I just don't think that rushing that is a good idea. Schroman says, how much difference does it make working with digital or pencil when going through your course? Is there a setback in learning using either methods? I personally think the stuff that you learn from doing it traditional is more like broad. It's more broadly applicable, but it doesn't change the assignments. It only changes like the amount that I ask you to do. Like, whereas with spheres, for example, frontlit sphere, first assignment, I only ask, from someone doing it traditional, I only ask for one sphere. I say, just give me one. Make it as good as you can, right? And I expect most people will spend at least an hour rendering one sphere. If they can't do an hour, it's probably because they have yet to grasp the mechanical functions necessary to be able to work on it that long. In digital, my expectations are very different. In digital, I tell them a sphere should literally take you less than a couple minutes to render in digital, because you should only be doing the modeling factors with like a couple touches of the airbrush. So because of that, I asked for higher volume for most of the digital assignments. But beyond that, nothing's different. Like I said, I do think the traditional stuff is just more broadly applicable. Like if you want to transfer it to other mediums, to very stylized forms of drawing and things like that, I don't think anything beats traditional for getting the principles into you. It also, because it takes so much longer, it practices your patience, which is very, very important and very useful for, well, obviously for anyone who is interested in working in a patience-focused vocation like drawing. Capitaine Citrion with $2.20 in Canadian dollars. Like the live stream, says Capitaine Citrion. Thank you, Capitaine Citrion. Also, if you're Ray, I've got my eye on you. $2.20 in Canadian currency sounds awfully familiar, Capitaine Citrion. Did Ray get banned? Yes, Ray got banned. And in a hypothetical world where Ray is being a ban evader and has re-entered the stream with the moniker Capitaine Citrion, I would highly advise that he not be a smartass about it and just shut up and enjoy the stream, because well, I think I've proven that I'm more than happy to ban cash cows. I don't care how much money someone's going to give me. I'm totally happy to give up that money to get rid of them. JB says, Stephen, is there a limit to how good someone can get if they don't start with an improvement focus early in life? Similarly to how you won't work in high-end tech unless you figure it out early on. Is there a limit? I mean, there might be a limit within a narrow view. Like, there may be a limit if you have to define good, right? Is good to you just skill, and skill interpreted how, right? Because even within, good means incredibly skillful. You need to be more specific. Does incredibly skillful mean that they are simply virtuosic in the way that they draw? That they make it look easy, they can do it fast, they can do it well? Or is it that they're skillful within a particular job requirement, skillful towards a particular application, right? There's all sorts of different ways to interpret being skillful. And you can also be good at art without being skillful. What about being good at connecting with the audience? What about being good at sending a message? What about being good at instilling a particular feeling in another person? Those are all things that could probably make you more money and make you more successful than just being good in abstractum, right? So within a very narrow viewpoint that is maybe focused on the virtuosity of drawing ability towards a particular end, yes, maybe if you were going to be that close-minded and have that small of a worldview, there would be a limit on how good someone can get. But I just think that's a stupid way to look at improvement. And if you're going to worry about that stuff, I think it's mostly you finding excuses to not make art. It really sounds like you're just trying to waste your creativity on finding a way to unhorse yourself, no pun intended on the current drawing, and make sure that you never fucking make anything. So if I were you, I would murder the part of your mind that is wasting time and effort thinking about things like that. There's absolutely nothing useful there. And I would bend your creativity towards finding reasons to make work instead, and finding reasons why nothing's in your way, and finding reasons why you should keep going instead. Says, hey, Stephen, I'm back in the Stephenverse. That's right. You've been pulled in. The inescapable pull of the tractar beam has you. I'm glad it looks like stream is okay. I was worried that problem with my lights had come back, where whenever my lights were plugged into the same circuit as my computer, my stream was just totally unusable. Doesn't look like that was the case. Everything okay over there, Dee Dee? M. DeBoer says, I started very late in life, arting for about 3 years, but feel very confident. That's all that matters. If you feel confident, don't worry about anything else. Also about being able to become way better than I currently am, even though it's no easy task. Yeah, but it's an infinitely receding horizon. I mean, even I've been doing it since I was a kid, about as much of a kid as anybody could hope for, right? Just by good luck. I mean, I love drawing and practiced it ever since I was itty bitty, like 5. We're not talking like, I mean, according to my sister and my mother, like we're not talking about, you know, drawing, not just sitting around drawing as a kid, like, oh yeah, here I am doing this, but like by a very young age being like, I left my sketchbook at home. We need to turn the car around. I need to go get it because I need my sketchbook with me so I can draw. It's like, I'm about as lucky in that regard as anyone could hope to be. And still, for all of the practice that I've had and the skill that I've gained, all I see is probably a horizon as far as the one that you see, where I'm like, shit, I could just get infinitely better. And I can look back on my life, even though I've been dedicated, even though I've pushed through all of the hard times, even though I've practiced insane hours, it's easy for me to look back on my life and go, I could have done more. If only I'd done more. It's like those thoughts they're cheap, you know, they're cheap. You don't even need real evidence to have those thoughts. They're just like effortless, annoying thoughts that feel real and are disassociated from reality, and they're just not useful. They're just not useful. True Omen says, hey Steven, Bobby Chu about to start stream on storytelling and composition. What is your take on the said topic? Never saw you make much of storytelling, but perhaps I'm wrong. Storytelling is very, very important. I mean, I don't get too much into it like on stream and stuff like that, just because usually when I'm streaming, I'm doing my own stuff, and the stories that I do in my own stuff tend to be more subtle, let's say. But I mean, storytelling has been a huge part of my training and what I do. I used to teach the storytelling class at Art Center. I used to run a class where I made the students write their own movie, and I taught them how to write it. And I took them through all the beats, and I critiqued all their stories, fixed inciting incidents, rising actions, climaxes, tried to make the midpoint be a total reversal in the story, tried to make sure that the climaxes were thematically relevant, helped the students figure out what the hell they thought the theme of their story was. And then on top of all the writing, I helped them make key art for it and be able to pitch it with a sequence of images. So yeah, you might say story is pretty important to me. It's pretty important. It's the backbone of most of what I did for work, you know? Both literal, like, narrative stories, and then also, like, the story of more abstract stories, like design stories, like the story of a space, for example, like how you move through an environment. That was always a cornerstone of when I was doing themed entertainment work, designing things for the real world, theme parks, museum exhibits, stuff like that. Anirudh says, Stephen, I am a young pro artist. I mean, any money I've made is through art. I've never studied, even when I tried to. I just keep drawing. Is this a safe place to say that? Is this, is my stream a safe place to say that? Yes. Yeah, it's all right. I don't have some stick up my butt about, oh, you need to have studied and stuff like that. Some people just have natural proclivities and temperaments that will allow them to do a particular kind of work that they get into early. Like I don't have any any feelings that you need to have gone through a particular mode of studying or style of studying, and that until you've done that, there's no way you could possibly work as an artist. It's like, that's crazy. It's like, if someone gave you that job and you can make money with it, it doesn't really matter what you did. You've got it. There it is. There it is, my friend. I've known lots of people who their talents and their position in life and what they naturally temperamentally aligned with and what the people that they knew just resulted in them just not really needing much in the way of schooling or practice. They just got a great job right away. It happens. It's just right place, right time, right talent, right connections. Dunzo. NBD. If only it was that easy for everybody, but that's just the way it goes for some people. But situations change. It's not like that means you're always going to have those opportunities. That job could go. There could be a time where you will need to practice in a more traditional, focused way. True Omen says, Steven, my diploma is in a couple months. My theme is also about key art and viz dev, involves storytelling. When I am done with it, could you check it out just for but a moment? I don't really have time to commit to giving people portfolio reviews like that, but I do look at all my messages. So if it's a controlled, I guess you're graduating, so it's going to be a tight, controlled portfolio. I mean, pop it at me and man, if I have time, I'll give it a glance, you know? I do try to make it a point that whenever anybody sends me something that I can't respond to most stuff, but whenever somebody sends me something that's like a portfolio, my frame rate is dropping. I just have no idea why. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. But whenever people send me a portfolio, I normally can't respond, but if it's pro quality, and they need to know that, I do try to make sure I tell them that. I'll just, even if it's just a couple words, literally, I'm like, you're ready to go, just so you know. And then I fire that off and I leave it at that. Sometimes people just need to know where they land, you know, but it's very rare that I have time to do anything like useful, constructive criticism, you know, unfortunately. I can really only do that within the context of my courses these days. What the heck happened to my cool guitar?
I love this.
You love this? I'm trying to draw a freaky man riding a scary horse, and I'm hearing this goofy yokel guitar music. What is this? You can't say yokel? I thought yokel was okay. Shit, and I apologize to all the yokels out there. You use a lot of imagery from physics when you talk. How come? Do you have a background in that? Not like a professional background or anything like that, but just in terms of interest and reading about it, yeah. It's hot as hell today in New York, guys.
It's really hot.
You're hot over there too?
Yeah.
It's hot as hell today.
It's really hot.
It's really hot. Don't speak. I know that it's hot now. Don't tell me that it's hot. No, no, no. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. 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 Joe Marziliano says the YouTube algorithm has my grandma hostage and will only release her if I chat with Steven on stream. We never should have let YouTube get this powerful. Kidnapping our grandmas like this. Unacceptable. I wish I knew what was making the frame rate on my camera drop so much. I wonder if I close that, if that'll help. Nope. What the heck is going on? When I was testing, it was looking real good. Real good. It was looking nice and smooth. Paolo Production says, Steven, Iceland loves your streams. Much love to Iceland. Much love from New York. It's so hot that I can barely use my kneaded eraser. It's getting all sticky and tacky. Yuck. What happened? Is he prepared to speak for all of Iceland? Undoubtedly. He never would have had the gall to send that first message if he wasn't willing to speak for all of Iceland. Stevie, I think it's your side. It's fine over here. Yeah, well, my face cam always runs smooth, but then sometimes stuff goes wrong with my my drawing cam, and it suddenly drops like 10 frames per second. I don't know why. Joe says, I'm so mad someone got banned and I wasn't the one to do it. Like to deliver the ban. Joseph, my flaming sword. My ban hammer. Take up your position in front of the tree of knowledge. Excoriate and banish all those who eat of that sacred fruit. Okay, I don't need to be stumping down right now. There's plenty of other stuff to draw. No, let's look at that part's looking pretty. I'm ready. I'm ready. I want to, just a little, ooh, yeah, just poke, poke, poke. What the heck is this? This sounds like Donkey Kong. This song sounds like it's playing in a Donkey Kong Country level. All right, let's make this a little bit more. What do I want to do? Do I want to plot shadows? No. I think I want to make things more weird before I plot shadows. Deirdre, I hear you hissing over there. No, I do not know horse anatomy, but neither does the audience, so I'm just going to tell beautiful lies and it'll be okay. Was that a cat I just heard? No, you heard my wife. Faint, distant, creeing in the background. I do want to do some kind of significant departure here, so I've got to find my sort of access point for that. Very crass, Joseph. Very crass.
What did he say?
Oh, he's making a joke about horse penises. totally inappropriate in a sophisticated environment like this. We always try to keep it very Gagosian, very Guggenheim, very Pace Gallery, very hyperallergic, very ArtNet, very high fructose. Nothing crass here, please. Keep it highbrow while we draw goblins. It's my preference.
Why is it gonna?
Really got to feel your way into it if you're going to try to do some weirdness on top of familiar or quasi-familiar forms. I try to be careful not to rush that part, because since you're totally making it up and it's just not what belongs on these sorts of forms, it's really easy to just sort of put in the first blush for the sake of it, for changing things up. I find that usually winds up being unsatisfactory. Want to fish a little deeper so that what you add or change or weirdify, that each thing that you add makes you go, oh yeah, that's cool. So that's good on its own. Not just there for the sake of it. Direction do a horse's ribs radiate? I think they probably, do they have this? No, they probably go that angle, right? Watching you suss out forms like that is my favorite part of these streams. Oh, that's good, because I spend a lot of time doing it. That's good. That's fortunate. Oh, I don't think I can use these kneaded erasers right now. It's too hot. They're melting in my hands, getting stuck to my fingers. Steven, any other strange dreams since the Gustavo Fring Frankenstein fiasco you told us of? No, I don't think so. Haven't dreamt much since then. The unconscious has been perfectly content, I suppose. MT Art says, if you do something in person, I'll try and fly out there to you. Your dedication is noted, Mel. Damn near brings a tear to my eye. I do want to do some in-person stuff. That's been on my mind for a while. Probably just start a cult. I mean commune. I mean intentional community.
Intentional community.
Intentional
Steven.
community. Yes, yes. Right. Joe, do me a favor. If home rain, what are you laughing about?
What?
Joe, do me a favor. If home rain starts redacting their own messages or donates any Canadian currency that ends in 20 cents, just ban them, please. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you for your courage. Could be a pretty cool drawing, actually. Tell you what, might be the first cool drawing I've ever done in my life. And the horses tend to have like a shelf here, where these muscles sort of meet the bonier part of the leg. There's like a little break there. I do have some familiarity with horses from years ago. I did go through a period where I like drew them a lot, learned a little bit of their anatomy. Used to go to the a horse ranch near work after work for a while and draw the horses as they were being exercised. But this was a long time ago. I mean, we're at about a decade ago now, so most of it has flown out of the mind. I don't quite remember it. Who's Stinky, the dog? The stink is coming from inside the house. Dude, it's not a mystery. We know what's going on. There's just nothing we could do about it. Are you drawing at an angle or is it flat? Says Corey Krubnacher. I am flat right now. I usually am not drawing at an angle. Well, I guess actually when I draw on my Huion, when I'm doing digital, that's technically on an angle because the screen is kind of tipped up. Gray whales will let people on boats pet them? Dude, if you'd pet a whale, something's psychologically wrong with you, dude. They're too big. You can't be friends with that. You can't get close to that. Run. Or swim the other way. Just get out of there. I would never hang out with a whale like that. Rafael Angelo Nene says, hey, Steven, you're always talking about the importance of having fun while making art projects, but you also stress the importance of having patience and making long drawings. I burned out several times by attempting long drawings, and I'm not sure how to balance those two goals, having fun and having patience. It does require a lot of tricky, like, psychological self-balancing to figure out what it's going to take to keep you through a drawing in the long haul. Everybody's different. You know, it's difficult for me to make any blanket statements about that, but rest assured, it's not surprising that it's hard for you to do it. It's supposed to be tough. It makes sense that it's tough. It's inevitable that it's going to be tough, but it is important. It is really important. You've got to see what part of the process is either boring you. You know, boredom is the first problem. You just have difficulty focusing for whatever the amount of time is. That's a long drawing, 8 hours, 10 hours, 40 hours, 50 hours, 100 hours. If you're bored, you need to find out what part in the process is boring you and fix it. So if let's say you're doing a drawing that needs 100 hours and you're bored because you kind of already know exactly what it's going to be from your preparation, don't prepare so much. I know that may go against the advice that a lot of people at art school would give, but it's what helped me. That's what allowed me to do drawings that lasted 100 hours. I had to stop preparing so much. I discovered that going in with a perfect plan really just made me feel like I was a robot that is sort of executing something instead of discovering as I go. And I personally need the sense of discovery or else I get bored. So you need to do something like that. Joe, if you could ban Captain Citrion too, that'd be good. And if it's not boredom, if it's that your drawings are not coming out the way that you want, and that's bumming you out so much when you're 3 hours in that you find that you feel like you must bail out, you need to go through a process where you realize for yourself that they're supposed to be that. Your drawings are, if you're just starting out, if you're trying to bring up your skills, if you're trying to make your abilities match your taste, it's required that you go through a period where your art is just not going to be satisfactory to you. And that's going to be true for a long time while you move through the pictures. You need to not just understand that conceptually the way that I said it, but you need to feel it in your bones. And then this will give you a deep piece, hopefully, that will allow you to push through to the other side of 20, 30, 40 hours, because you're going to have compassion for yourself, you're going to have compassion for your drawings, and you're going to be patient with them. You're going to say, it's okay that you look bad. I'm not going to freak out. It's normal, and I'm on the journey. This is part of the process, and it will change. It will get better. And plenty of people will tell you that, yeah, I mean, if you push through when you really felt like quitting, when you really felt like you couldn't goddamn stand it, the burnout feeling of pushing through a drawing that is disappointing you, there's great things to be learned on the other side of those 20, 30, 40 hours that they will make it worth it. They will make it worth it. Now, the other thing is that if it's true burnout, if it's getting so bad that it's at the point that you hate drawing, right? If it makes you just want to quit making work, if it's not just that you want to jump ship to another drawing, right? But that you're just like, fuck drawing. That's not good. That's too far. That requires a deeper evaluation of if really there's usually other things going on in life, or you're putting undue expectations on yourself, or you have unrealistic expectations for a job or career or something like that. You know, for example, you've put yourself on this false deadline that you just made up, where you're like, I've never drawn before, but I need to be a professional artist in a year, or else I won't be able to feed myself. It's like you did that to yourself, right? And that's too far, and it's guaranteed that that's going to burn you out. So you need to look at those other factors. But true burnout like that, you need to take a break, you need to pull back, and you need to reassess the context around all of the artwork that you're making. Hi, Jenny Craddock. How are you? Glad you could catch a stream. Live on the internet. Frame drops are getting a little worse. Yeah, I see that. It's just my camera. Something's up with my camera, because I'm not really getting much in OBS. My internet connection seems fine. Something's wrong with my camera, and I have no idea what that would be, because I've not updated anything about my camera. Stephen, what sorts of things do you discover after working on a drawing for a long time? If you can verbalize it from your own experience. It is very difficult to verbalize. I've tried many times for people, but at a certain point, you've got to take my word for it. Like, yeah, I don't know how to put it. Like, a lot of it is, you almost just got to look at the evidence. It's like, you can have someone who has only been drawing for a couple years, but let's say you've got someone who's only been drawing for a couple years, but they've done even just like 5 to 10 pictures that they've pushed all the way. They often draw better and can get better results than people who have been sketching frantically for 5 to 8 years. And I'm not sure what to attribute that to. The guess that I've always had is that how to put it, it's like taking something that far allows you to spend a long period of time. We're talking hours, right? So let's say on a drawing that you might spend 100 hours on, let's say after the 50-hour mark, you are in a zone where the drawing has a high level of reality, right? Because you have dumped a high level of reality into it. And that means for the next 50 hours, you are practicing the refinement of an already realistic illusion, right? When most people don't even get to the area of producing the base level of reality to the drawing. And if they do, they're only going to spend a few minutes there at a time or an hour there at a time, and then they're going to bail or say it's done. Whereas just off one drawing, you'll get 50 hours of familiarity with that psychedelic place where you are, it's not just a drawing to you anymore, it's fucking real. And there's just you've either been there or you haven't. I don't know what to tell you. You know, there's no replacing that, I don't think. And because you have familiarity with that realm and you've spent time in that realm, it's quicker to get back there. It changes the way you draw in the beginning of the process because you know what all of these shorthands are going to become when they go into the far out place of refinement and finish. That winds up making your sketches more insightful, even if you have spent less time sketching than another person. And you're just going to have a clearer process all the way through to finish. It's not for everybody, and I don't really know what to, and I don't really know how to elaborate on it beyond that, but it seems to be true, you know? Angel says, rendering sucks. The final details are the worst part of the process. Yeah, for a lot of people, but I think that's because they think rendering is different than drawing. It stops sucking once you realize that that's a pernicious little lie, and that rendering and drawing and sketching are actually all the same thing. That you're doing the same thing in either one of those processes. You're just delineating form and space. It's an arbitrary distinction to think it matters if that's happening on the contour or if that's happening with rendering on the inside of the contour. It's all the same stuff. If you can correct that misidentification of what rendering is, it no longer sucks. That's what made it fun for me. I wasn't a renderer before I had that revelation, and I fixed it for myself. Which is funny because now people think of me as, or a lot of people, when they think of my style, they're like, there's someone who excels at rendering and finish and sort of creating the forms. And it's like, that was not my natural proclivity. My abilities with that came from that insight. from the explosive, again, not conceptual, but experiential understanding that, oh, right, it's all the same goddamn thing. And then suddenly I could render. And I could render fucking well. Plectrum says, do you have any advice for people who went too far outside their comfort zone? Too far outside their comfort zone to the point where they got lost and don't know where to go next to improve? Too far outside of your comfort zone. What do you mean? How so? That's a rare problem. I mean, if you know what your comfort zone is and you feel lost, just go back to your comfort zone for a few days, rest up, build up your energy, and then get back out there, baby. Get back out into the wilds. Go nuts. Get outside of that comfort zone. Do the crazy stuff. No, pup. Beat it. Go ask your mom. Go ask your mom. She knows. She goes. She leaves. That's funny. What's the drawing you've done that you were most intimidated by? I'm never really intimidated by drawings. I've had to do plenty of drawings that, like, I'm ruining them because I have to get them done. There's too much to do on them in too little time for a client and things like that. That's a form of intimidation. But that's not like intimidation from like the content or the complexity of the drawing. That's intimidation from just, Jesus Christ, how long am I going to have to stay awake to get this done? Is it even possible to get this done on time? Outside of those contexts, I don't really get intimidated by drawings. It's always clear to me that no matter how complicated a drawing is, to do it and to finish it is always just, it's a function of just how much time do you have. Just patiently do it one little part at a time until it's done. That's it. That's going to be the case for every drawing. Hold on, I'm gonna restart my camera. I'm gonna see if that fixes the frame rate. Let's see. Actually, that might have been a horrible idea. What if it can't come back at all? It's a very hot day. Camera's been running for a while and it feels very hot. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. But I don't think so, because the preview on my cam is running fine. Let's take a look. Just giving it a second. Nope, didn't help. Who knows? I gotta diagnose later. Think about what I've changed. What could I have done? What did I update? Or what did I change that might have messed with my overhead cam? Steven, what's your preferred AC setting? High, cool. High, cool. My head in the freezer, cool. Just as cold as it gets. I think that, isn't that everybody's preferred AC setting? We can't always have it on that, but isn't that everybody's preference? Winter over summer then, Stephen? Ah, yes. Oh, yes. I'm definitely a fall guy in general. Fall's my favorite because it's the only one where I don't have allergies, you know? Or, well, winter I don't have allergies, but it's cold, so you can't really go out much. Spring and summer, I can go out, but I have allergies for all of spring and summer. Fall, 2 weeks of bliss. It's too bad fall is so very, very short in New York. Any tips on drawing machines? Yeah, don't get too caught up with trying to do perfect lines because you're associating like clean mechanical lines with mechanical forms. It's like you can worry about that later in an overlay or something like that. When you're drawing machines, just let yourself draw a little bit sloppy or a little bit more naturally and just focus on the design. Try to get the design. If it's a cool design for a machine, people will forgive you for more organic lines. I think I want to move this hoof. I want this lower part to be a little longer. Steve, you draw any mech things, or does it turn out more scorn? Yeah, I've drawn mechs over the years. I've drawn a little bit of everything over the years. I recently did a bunch of mechs on the streaming to my Patreon. But I would definitely say my usual subject matter is more organic stuff. I used to draw a lot of Gundams when I was a kid. Goodbye, Arctic Monkey. Goodbye. Enjoy BCS. Do you feel rulers are overrated when you can draw a straight line with elbow? Well, they're not overrated. For stuff that you should be using a ruler for, you should just definitely use a ruler. Like perspective and things like that. Especially if you're setting up a grid. I think it's kind of silly to not just use a ruler. But, yeah, I think anyone, if we're talking about like drawing mechs and stuff like that, I think it's a bad idea to start drawing a cool design for a robot with a ruler for the actual lines on the forms. It just makes you lock up too much. And it makes you precious with the lines because each line is expensive because you need to move the ruler and get it in place and do it like that. You want your lines early on to be cheap so that they don't feel like they require a lot of effort, so that you'll just be comfortable winging them out and erasing them and changing them. And just letting your mind focus more on the success of the design rather than what it's going to take to draw it. That's always priority number one. Have you ever tried the soul crashing simulations part of 3D? A little bit, a little bit. When I first tried 3D, well, maybe not first, but when I was using 3D really young, when I was using Maya back when I was like 15 years old or something like that, I went through a period where that was like all I was doing in Maya. I would make like Rube Goldberg machines. See, now I feel like the frame rate on my camera is better. Yeah, see, it's better all of a sudden, right? What the hell? Yeah, it doesn't look like it's running at like 30, but maybe like 24 or something. What the heck? I can't keep up with what's going on. I'm not going to do anything involving glue. A lot of hate for glue around here. A lot of hate for glue. We just can't get with it. We hate glue. We hate glue. Steven, are you going to keep this streaming schedule, or was it just for this week? The normal streaming schedule right now is Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm on here today, Friday, because I missed yesterday. I got caught up yesterday. I needed to do some research into some AI stuff. Mr. Ball Slapper 2000 says, super grateful for all the streams you have been doing lately. It just makes drawing feel a lot easier and a lot less lonely. I'm glad, Mr. Ball Slapper. Happy to be of service. Happy to be of service. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching and commenting and engaging. And for the love of God, thank you for drawing. Goodbye, frilled mayfly. Take care. Deirdre, you back there? I don't know where my wife went. Lassie Talks About Art says, I would have to agree with Mr. Ball Slapper 2000. Mr. Ball Slapper. Mr. Ball Slapper. And the award for most profound artist goes to Mr. Ball Slapper 2000. Mr. Ballslapper 2000 has just won the award for Most Profound Artist for his new piece, Ball Slappin' in 2000. Christian Wolfgang says, has anyone ever Frankenstein toys like they did Star Wars figs back in the day for making Jawas, etc.? I used to do that, yeah. I used to build the Gundam model kits, so I would build them. And then, yeah, I would have Frankensteining sessions where the ones I had already finished building, I'd take them apart, stick their parts back together, try to make new ones. Sometimes I'd stick a Spider-Man arm on them or something like that. Hot glue where necessary, definitely. Lloyd Queegee says, Stephen, any good Patreon's resources that offer critiques feedback? I'm looking for some long-term guidance, but I can only find people offering 8-week mentorships or it's 200 euros per hour. I think for a lot of people, if what professionals are offering is not really fitting the budget or it's not how you want it, if you want more intimate contact than that, I know this it might just, you might have a gut reaction away from this because it's not what you're envisioning, it's not what you're imagining, you sort of already have an expectation for how you want to get this feedback, but let it just crawl in your brain. I think for a lot of people, it's more useful to build a peer group that offers constant contact and a lot of critique, rather than relying on getting the ear of a professional. A peer group where everybody's working together, your minds together and the fact that you all have taste, right? And if you prune the taste of the peer group where everybody's sort of going towards the same goal, right? You guys will be able to give each other good feedback as long as you have good touchstones, good clarity on what you're heading towards. And you have time, you may all be going through the heavy boot camp-like period where you're investing a lot of free time into drawing, so you can all be connected constantly online. You can send tons of whips, whereas like you can't really bother a professional with tons of whips, and people can just sort of say, no, yes, yes to this, no to that, yes to this, no to that, really quickly. I think for a lot of people, doing that is better. And when I say a peer group, if you want to be really focused, just to give you some idea, I'm talking like definitely less than 10 people. Like I'm not even talking like a Discord where you sort of vibe with everybody in the Discord. That's a good thing to have too, right? But narrow it down even more from that. Like meet people in the Discord and then pluck down a tight group of less than 10, less than 5 people where you all know what you're heading towards and you all have the same expectations from each other and you're willing to just ping on each other constantly and give feedback. And then you can, from there, you can do the kind of things that you're talking about, build on top of that, add on to that 8 weeks with a mentor or even one very intense, maybe 200, what you mentioned there, 200 euros per hour for some sort of crit session. You use that to sort of make big trajectory changes. But if you're just focusing on skill improvement rather than like big career moves, I don't think this career is for you. That's some of the best stuff the pros are for, is telling you like, yeah, you're actually like misinterpreting your own desires, or the job is not what you think it is, stuff like that. That's some of the most helpful stuff pros can offer. But for just raw skill building, a good group of friends is hard to beat, is really hard to beat. Especially with the competitiveness, right? With a pro, you're like, oh man, you're the best. Oh, like it's hard to deprogram that feeling when you're getting mentorship from someone you really respect. With your friends, you will compete with them directly. Now, don't let it get out of balance. Don't let it get unhealthy. But the friendly rivalry and direct competition, and the psychological impact of knowing like I could be or should be on the level as this person that I know, that makes people improve really effing fast. Yeah, see, I'm not crazy, right? My frame rate's good now, right? What happened? Now it doesn't look like my overhead cam's running at 10 frames per second. Now it's good. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. Tech is weird. Are you guys seeing the difference? That just looks smoother, right? Tell me if I'm crazy. Tell me if I'm making this stuff up. Yeah, people are mentioning Crimson Daggers, stuff from 2006. Yeah, it was easier to find back in the day. Fucking internet. The way the internet went, social media and all that. Social media is what killed a lot of that. Hate to say it, but it's true. It changed everybody's incentives and made everything much more like insular. It was like the forums back in the day. There was so many pros giving advice there and being accessible and creating such a healthy community. And it's like, why was that? Well, it was because back then, no one knew what the internet was for. Everyone was just like, yeah, of course we'll just have pros with sketchbooks and they'll share all of their bad drawings and their good drawings and they'll give new people advice and push each other and say, come on, you got to do it. Just all this really good vibe stuff, wise vibes, like a good blend of competition and kindness and things like that. That manifested because people were like, well, we don't know what the internet's for. This sounds good. Let's do that. And then the fucking social media companies came through and they were like, no, actually the internet is for getting likes. And we got tricked by that. We got poisoned by that. So we let everything else fall to the wayside. It sucks, man. I entered a group for people who draw on Facebook, most of them just like ultra realism and really trash or ignore other types of art, lol, not very friendly. Yeah, that's the thing. You need to vet the group carefully because there's every kind of art out there and there's every kind of art fan and there's every kind of art community. So if you really want that sort of growing together experience, you need to go digging for it. It's not going to be every community that's like that. Stevie, you think AI will eventually make AI prompted virus, like a computer virus? I mean, whatever kind of virus you meant, I guess it doesn't really matter because if we're talking about an unregulated AI future, if we just keep going the way we're going and doing nothing, then I think it's inevitable. Yeah. It's like, because the tools will just make it so that anybody who wants to do that on a lark one weekend can just do it. And so they'll do it before they can even talk themselves out of it. Where can I find a darkly born AI? There will never be a darkly born AI. Darkly born cannot be contained by algorithms. You couldn't make a latent space for darkly born. It would implode on itself. Use glaze, guys, says Angel. LOL, is glaze legit? Glaze does work as intended, as far as I know. I actually just started using it today. It took me a while. I've been real busy, but today I finally, after updating my OS, that was why I wasn't doing it, because you need to be on the newest version of Mac OS to use it, so finally got my OS updated, bit the bullet. Because I'm always very worried about updating my OS, because usually when I do, it messes with OBS. I got to redo stream settings. Like, it always breaks something. But it went okay. Actually, maybe my camera problems are because of that. Who knows? But I finally updated it. And yeah, I got glaze on there. I ran some tests this morning. I did that in the AM today. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. Thank God there's something out there. Yeah, I got to tinker with it more. It's definitely something to get used to. I ran, how many did I glaze this morning? I think I glazed like 8 or so sample images. Like 10-ish, it looks like. And I only tried a couple settings, but yeah, I've got to play with it more and see. Because some of them, like I got 2 or 3 where on the random settings I picked, I was like, I'm good with that. You know, that just looks like compression noise, like normal compression noise. And then on a couple of them, I got an error. Like Glaze told me that that I need to redo the settings because it couldn't quite provide sufficient protection. So I got to see what happens when I redo those. Others looked good, but I was like, oh, I bet I could get an even cleaner result if I mess with the settings a bit. So I got to poke around more. It seems to be a very like image to image thing. Like you need to try it, see what it does to that image you're trying to glaze. It's like see if the result works, if it doesn't work for you, and then start playing with sliders. It's just images are so vastly different from image to image. I found that the ones that had, the drawings that I had that had like detail everywhere, those were easy to glaze. Those didn't really have any problem areas on most of the settings. And then drawings that had like big empty areas, like if it was just like if I only rendered the character on this and there was a lot of white, like just nothing but pure white paper around it, there the artifacts are, they remain in the white of the paper, so you kind of got to fiddle with it more. I found the more detailed the image, the easier it was to glaze. I think I just heard my wife come in. I think she was walking the dog. Maybe the glaze model relies heavily on edge detection. I don't know enough about the tech to say yay or nay to that. This drawing reminds me of that one you did with the golden horse. Yeah, I see the connection as well. I hadn't thought about that, but yes. I mean, just a figure riding a horse is just like such a primal thing, you know? It's always a compelling image on its own. I thought it was an AI protective thing. Glaze is an AI protective thing. It's a cloaking tool. Cloaking activated. Initiating cloaking. Should I use glaze even though I have only like 50 social media following? I would say yeah. So, I mean, in the big picture, techniques like this are about, it's like the internet and images are being scraped indiscriminately for the most part. So it doesn't really matter so much how many followers you have or anything like that. It matters where you are, where your art is. So if Instagram is going to get scraped, if ArtStation is going to get scraped, if DeviantArt is going to get scraped, et cetera, et cetera. So, and the good thing about these tools is that if there's a critical mass of people using them, it will make it much more difficult to scrape indiscriminately. So it's up to you, but for my money, I would say yeah. Steven, do or did you ever get bored of drawing? Yeah. Everybody gets a little bored of... Yeah, but you can get bored of video games. It's like, you can get bored of anything. It's not a big deal. I get bored of drawing, I just take a break. I've never gotten bored of drawing like in an ultimate sense. I've never gotten bored of drawing where like I stopped doing it for like a long time. Like weeks or months. But even if you did do that, no big deal. That's just how much of a break you needed. You get back on it whenever you want, and who gives a damn? Done, 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 done. What if a single image broke AI? How cool would that be? I've heard there's possibilities for group protections. That's all I'll say. Have you ever become bored of your taste? No, I mean, I think if you were bored of your taste, that would mean your taste is shifting. I think by the definition of taste, it's like you're just sort of transforming, you know? You just have a new taste now. Your taste is developing. I've tried occasionally to like leave my taste as far as I can identify them, like, you know, on a lark, I'll draw a cartoony, like really cartoony, like a, you know, old school Americana cartoony or something like that. But it's just like, I just do it for a day and then I bounce off. It's like, it's not robust, you know, there's no part of me that energy will be there for a day. Again, like I said, on a lark, just for fun, you know, just to try it out, just to figure out how to copy the style or something like that. And then the next day I'm like, what am I going to do? Do that forever? Like, there's no way I'm going to do that forever. Lassie says, in that sense, how long have you gone at a time without drawing in the last few years? Like, I tend not to draw when I'm on vacation. You know, that's usually the longest time. If I go on like a 9-day, 10-day vacation, usually I'll go that whole vacation without doing any drawing. I just want to see stuff when I'm on vacation. Even then, I mean, yeah, like last big vacation I was on when I went to Italy, like I did still draw a bit while I was in Italy. So even there, a little bit. Crack open the sketchbook over dinner, do a couple little doodles. But mostly when I'm on vacation, I just try to see. So yeah, I don't really draw on vacation. That'll be quite a few days end on end. It's just not a big deal. You know, I just don't think it's a big deal to take the amount of time that you need to not draw. You know, there's a difference. It comes down to like, are you doing it in a wholesome and wise way where you're just like, yeah, I just don't want to draw. It's not a big deal. Or I need to rest or something like that, which is, I just don't see any problem with that. Or are you not drawing out of fear? Are you going days because you're beating up on yourself and you're in this recursive cycle where you're like, you know, I can't draw until, you know, I need to be really good and I'm ashamed of myself for not being as good as I should be. And, or you're fearing that when you draw, you're going to see how inadequate you are, or that someone that you're comparing yourself to is better. So you're just finding every reason not to do it and stuff like that. If you're 3 days spent not drawing in that negative mindset is basically a tragedy. And 3 days not drawing in a not caring, wholesome capacity is piss in the wind. It doesn't matter. It means nothing about you and it's just fine. It's perfectly fine. I think it's all about where your head is at when you're not working. It's like, I think here's the difference maybe. It's like, if I don't draw for 10 days and those 10 days didn't contain, you know, sometimes if I don't draw, I just get depressed because one of my favorite things to do, right? I start getting sad, bummed, right? Because I'm like, damn, I just love drawing so much. But that aside, if I go 10 days without drawing, I don't think about it. And when I pick up the pencil, I don't think, my first time in 10 days. I'm just like, doo-doo-doo, as if nothing happened. I don't even worry about it. I don't worry about it when I go days without drawing. Not anymore, you know? It's just not a big deal. It's only a big deal if you're running from something. If you're avoiding drawing. You get what I'm saying? When you want to be, when you wish you would, you know? Evan says, Steven, I draw a lot of stream of consciousness stuff that doesn't make literal sense, but I think it looks great. Should I apply that abstractness or rein it in when drawing realistic forms? I mean, you see what I do. I put that stuff all over everything. If you don't have any other constraints, like you need to deliver it for a job or something like that, go for it. Do whatever you want. There's nothing like inherently noble about drawing something accurately and realistically. It may be interpreted as noble by a particular audience that is interested in that, or within a particular context, like you're in a class and you're being graded on how accurately you can present something. But outside of those specific criteria, it doesn't matter. There's nothing inherently noble about it. So don't let it hold you back. If you feel like you'd enjoy what you're doing more by letting those abstract things sort of come in and play around and writhe around the thing, don't let anything hold you back. Don't put yourself in a prison of your own making. Not in art. Of course, now we're talking about it, so I'm immediately doing florals and filigrees on this. Arthur Diaz Lopez says, what if I don't draw for days because of some life responsibilities, but I really want to draw? Is that a bad thing? I don't even want to answer that. I think the bigger issue, and I'm not aiming this like at you, Arthur. I'm saying in a general sense because this comes up from students all the time. The bigger issue is, why the hell are you asking that question at all? Like, why with art do you need someone to tell you if the way you're living your life is the right way or the wrong way? Or looking for some sort of validation that you're being appropriately gritty or something like that. That mindset is not going to help an artist at all, I don't think. You need to get used to extending yourself a lot of compassion, being confident in your choices and making your own choices, because in art, if you're just taking the choices that other people are making for you or operating by the options that other people have validated, you're basically guaranteeing that your art is going to wither in your breast and you're going to be completely irrelevant. Nobody wants to see that shit from fucking anybody. You gotta just accept that it's art and it's not a big deal, and that if you're going to be confident, if you're going to be the person that you wish you were, if you're going to be someone who is just going to move blissfully, peacefully, and confidently through the world, this is the place to do it. This is not the hard place to do it. This is the easiest place to do it. Everywhere else is the hard place to be that person. In art, you're free, undamaged, impossible to be hurt, completely the lord of your domain. If you're not going to take upon yourself the freedom to extend yourself every grace and every benefit here in art, you're not going to do it anywhere. You're just not going to do it anywhere. Snap out of it. Corey says, you are making me emotional. I love all the conversations that have happened during this stream. I love them too. I mean, just, you know, I know I can get a little heated with all that stuff, but I really think it's, artists really suffer from sort of the lack of confidence and making art into something that it isn't, and needing people to tell them how to do it. And it's just something that really, I think it's very bad, and it needs to be exercised. Yolo says, Steven, if I draw whatever I want, whenever I want, with childlike confidence and excitement, is that bad? Shut up, Yolo. That's funny. That's funny. Graves says, Steven, do you have any advice on how to deal with not drawing for long periods out of fear? The better I get at art, the more scared I am of starting a new piece. Fear of what? Is there any... If I slid you a piece of paper and I said, like, give it to me, give me the real thing that you're afraid of that's keeping you from drawing, could you put down anything concrete on that piece of paper? It's always going to be the same old bullshit that everybody has. Dad's going to be disappointed in me. Mom's going to think I wasted my life. It's not going to be as good as David's drawings. Fuck, how is David better than me? He's been drawing for less time than me. God, you'd be lucky if it was that. It's probably not even your friend David. It's just some guy on the internet that you don't know anything about him or his life or how hard he's worked. He's might as well be a ghost to you, and you do nothing but compare yourself to him every day. You've got nothing. There's nothing there. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? I don't like, write it down. Try to write it down. Like, get a piece of paper and try to write out, say, I've got all this fear, right? This fear is real. It's keeping me from drawing. And the better I get at art, the more scared I am of starting a new piece. So this fear must be real. There must be something I can say about it, right? Get a piece of paper and just try to fill one page of paper with the fear. And I bet you're going to embarrass yourself by the time you get to the bottom of the paper. And then I want you to not throw it away. I want you to put it on your drawing desk. And every day before you start drawing, I want you to read the piece of paper top to bottom. And if by the third day, by the time you're halfway down the paper, you're not laughing yourself sick and you just flick the paper away and you start drawing, I don't know what's going on. Just keep it there. And if it ever feels disconnected or like you missed the mark, just try again. The fear is real, right? You're really afraid, right? There's really something scary about drawing, right? So put it on the paper. Put it on the paper. Prove to yourself and to me that you're not delusional, and write it down on the piece of paper. Every day that it feels like you got it wrong, do another piece of paper. Let's find it. Let's find what it is. And then just every day when you sit down, as long as what's on the paper feels real, just read it. Just read it before you start drawing. And see what happens. Just see what happens. I'm not even good. It could be anything. It could be that it doesn't have any emotional effect on you. It could be that you nailed it and it proves that it's real. And by the time you get to the bottom of the piece of paper, you run screaming from the drawing board because it's so concrete what your fear really is. Or by the time you've read your own thoughts and got into the bottom of the sheet of paper, you'll be like, what the fuck am I doing? And you'll just draw. Let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens. Steven, will this live session get uploaded later? Yeah, I leave these all up. You can just go to the channel and click on the live sub tab, and every stream I've ever done is right there. I don't take them down or anything. I know, it's very hot. Did you walk the dog?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I want you to know that she pooped twice.
What?
Oh, yeah.
She did a double dog shit? Incredible. Unprecedented. They said it couldn't be done.
Are you still screaming?
Yeah, I am. What are you doing? Are you done working?
Part time soon.
What time are they saying?
They're there now.
Oh. Are you planning on any new Drawing Ascendant episodes? Oh, I'm planning. Gotta stop using that kneaded eraser. It's melting on me. Fear number 5, Steven's angry eyebrows when he looks at the chat. Now that's right. That's goddamn right. Zapata, do you enjoy the Zaza? You mean pizza? My sweet, sweet New York pizza? Of course I enjoy it. I don't think I know a New Yorker who doesn't like pizza. I remember I once knew a girl who claimed she didn't like it when we were little. And it turned out she was a liar and she was just trying to be contrarian. We've all been there. Emma Blomskog is home from work. Hello, Emma. What's up? How's the life drawing last night? Well. I wound up spending a lot of it chatting with people rather than drawing too much, but it was cool. It's always fun to do a costume session. And I got to meet Rachel and Nicole from the Concept Art Association. They were the ones throwing the event, so that was really nice. Well, I already knew them, obviously, but by meet, I mean meet in person. Never met them in person before. Steven, I think you're overdoing it, old man. You should be in bed by now. I hope he believes me. If he takes the bait, he'll go to bed, and then I can practice while he sleeps. Soon he'll realize that sleep is delicious, and then he'll waste all his time sleeping, and I can finally catch up to him and become the greatest artist who ever lived. My true destiny. If only Steven wasn't in my way. Steven, for real, what's your hair care routine? It looks insanely nice. I do not have a routine. My hair is I have treatment-resistant hair, for sure. It refuses to take anything. Shampoo can barely penetrate it. It's thick, 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 like a Brillo pad. See, now my frame rate's down again. Nothing has changed. Haven't opened anything, haven't launched anything. I don't know what's going on. Goodbye, JB. Peter the horse is here? I ate a horse once. What the heck is going on with you guys? Thank you, Mel. Mr. Soon says, too late to draw for me. I get to fall asleep to this stream, which is nice. See, I know what that's about. That's people whistling to me, dog whistling to me, letting me know, don't do any rude covers of AC/DC. I'm trying to sleep. That's why people say that to me. They know that I can't bring myself to sing if I know people are trying to waft off to sleep to my stream. I always reserve the right to do rude covers of AC/DC. John OQ says, hi, Steve. Are you the real Steve? I am. Mel says, I've lately been getting much better at using the white of the paper or screen to really pull out the highlights and peaks, throwing down so much more gray in the form light now. Good. Yeah. Yeah, it's always nice once you've got enough control that you can kind of gray it down and get those speculars back. That's good, Mel. That's good. Unknown Messenger says, what's the genre of music and name, if I may ask? It's lo-fi. Lo-fi is the genre. I'm playing the Lo-Fi Beats Essentials playlist on epidemicsound.com. Stevie, any advice on starting from the bottom on freelancing platforms? Any platforms for recommending? I do not. I'm not familiar with the freelancing platforms, unfortunately. When I started out freelancing, Fiverr wasn't a thing yet, and other platforms like that. So I'm gonna try to not talk out of my ass on that and pretend like I know when I don't know. Sorry, wish I could help more. What time is it? Oh, it's 5. Are you done? Completely done working? All right. Give me a little bit. I just can't resist. I gotta keep drawing for a minute. I'm on a roll here. Bye, Joey. Love you, bud. All right, let me just figure out the value pattern that I want on this back lat shoulder area, and then I'm gonna call it a day and go to the park with my wife. But sometimes you know the thought you gotta get out. You can't quite stop till you've got that thought. I'm in drawing land right now. My mind is inside the paper. I just gotta take advantage of that while I do this for a second. Renola says, Steven, hope I don't piss you off, but when I saw Despicable Me, the oldest daughter reminded me so much of your wife. Now I can't get that out of my head, just saying. I don't remember what the daughter was like in Despicable Me. Does she have glasses? Is it a glasses thing? Look, you don't gotta worry. I'm not pissed off. I'm furious. I'm absolutely furious. This goes beyond being pissed. Just looking for that value pattern, that's what I need. I can't relax and enjoy my day out Unless I know that I got the values right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Las Vegas. You're incredibly kind. Whoa, 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 whoa. Need those values right. Need those values right. I just need an arrangement of form that is not boring, or I'll be depressed all day. So we gotta get it. You always got to kind of consider the forms directly adjacent to what you're doing to know that you're, just so you can kind of see how they're going to stitch together, interact. I'm sure you guys can barely see the difference in values that I'm creating, just because this is very subtle stuff. I would need to like expose for just this area if you wanted to see it clearly. It's like I'm leaving little landmarks for myself that let me know what I intended. Then when I come back later, I'll know what to make a little darker, what to make a little lighter, but I'll need to massage the hierarchy. Steve, have you ever thought of turning your art into a VR experience? Yeah, I have. Had a couple stops and starts with stuff like that with a few people, but that's the thing, you need people. You gotta have a team, because I don't know how to do it, you know. Yeah, I had a couple of times I had people who were interested in doing it with me, and we did a little bit of work for it, but just, you know, we were just doing it for fun, and then you know how it is, people get super busy. So they got really busy. So we just had to put it on indefinite hold. All right, this neck area is, I think I gotta move the head, and that's not something I want to do when I'm rushing. So let's say that's that. We'll pick
How
it
does
up.
my shirt look in front of this screen? Because I have a bit of green.
Probably some of it's gonna disappear. Yeah, it is.
It's on the pants.
Are they green?
No, they're kind of blue.
Here, look.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, you see?
Whoa.
It's fading out. Pretty rad, right? You should get an all green shirt so that you can stand behind me all the time and give color commentary, but you won't be breaking up the shot. What do you think about that?
So long as that colored commentary is green, Steven.
Okay. All right.
Let's go.
Okay. Let me sign off here. All right, everybody. Let's leave it there. Another day, another drawing. Whoops. Let me zoom out all the way so you guys can get the feel of everything that... I can't quite get it all there. You can almost see it all. Top of that stick gets cut off. There's foot all the way down, but it's right at the edge of the paper, so that's where it's at. I quite like this one. I think this is cool. I like the way this one came out. Not bad for just sort of erupting up as the drawing of the day. Hadn't really thought of doing this or anything like that. I just kind of randomly doodled. In my sketchbook this morning with my coffee, I randomly doodled a guy on a horse kind of like this, and I was like, it's good enough to do something like that on stream. So yeah, I think it came out pretty cool. I'm into it. So always nice to do a little bit of a different subject matter too, to get a horse in there. Not like it's the first time I've done a horse. I've got other pieces with stuff like that, but yeah, it came out cool. I like it. I think we'll keep going on it. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. I am going to go get some sun. Bye, everybody. Goodbye to Warrington Fieselfeet, Lano, Lloyd Queegis, Jenny Heidewald, Fleers Hoos, Emma Blomskog, Beatrice, Plectrum Dust. Don't forget Wellington Cardoso, Mr. Ball Slapper 2000, Nina Modelski, Mr. Soon, John O'Q, Corey Krumknacker, Arthur Diaz, Lopez, Mizubi Art, I Can't, Mecha Bouncy Bunny, and of course, Lalokin. Take care, everyone. Happy drawing. I will see you all soon. Have a good weekend.